Hello, my friends. This is Nick, the ASMR nerd, and tonight I would like to read to you a very special seasonal story. The book that I'm going to be reading tonight is this one right here, a Redwall Winter's Tale by the dearly departed English author Brian Jacques. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Redwall, this is a series of novels for youth that feature a variety of anthropomorphic animals going on adventures in a fantasy world without humans. And these stories center around the eponymous Redwall Abbey, which is where many of these creatures make their home. This series is very near and dear to my heart because I grew up reading them. And as a matter of fact, I actually read part of one of the novels on this very channel many, many years ago. Some of you who have been around for a long time may remember those videos. And I just thought it would be nice tonight, especially, it's the winter, the days are short and dark, the nights are cold, maybe it's snowing where you are, maybe it's raining where you are like it is here. But I just thought it would be nice to curl up by the fire, get warm, get cozy, relax, and share one of these Redwall tales with all of you. In particular, I would like to dedicate this reading to my wonderful friend and frequent collaborator, Miss Fushi, who many of you may know. She has a wonderful ASMR and gaming channel, because I know that she loves Redwall just as much as I do, and so I thought she in particular might enjoy this story. But I would like all of you to get comfortable, relax, get warm, maybe get a nice warm drink or something like that. Just settle in and listen as I read to you a Redwall Winter's Tale. A Redwall Winter's Tale by Brian Jacques. Illustrated by Christopher Denise. There's the front cover. You can see the Redwallers inside through the window of the Abbey. Snow falling outside, but they're all warm inside. This particular book is a picture book, and so I will be reading from the pages and then showing you the pictures once we reach the end of a page. Old leaves were all a-rustling on autumn's final day. North wind was coldly bustling on autumn's final day. Small birds had flown, good crops were grown, and harvested away on autumn's final day. There's the picture. Looks like an old abbot, a mouse, inside his office. Two little creatures trundled through the leaf-strewn path outside of old Redwall Abbey. Bongo, the mole babe, and his friend Tubspike, the hedgehog maid. good Father Abbot had given their permission to welcome some very special guests who were coming to entertain at the Abbey. Bongo and Tubspike peered anxiously along the path. "Yarn, Mizzy, I hopes them come before it be dark," Bongo growled in his funny mole voice. Tubspike squeaked as the wind tugged at her apron. "If you say that once more, I'll roll you in the leaves." So he said it once more. The two friends tussled and giggled amid drifts of crispy, crackly, gold and red-brown autumn leaves. There we have Bongo and Tubspike playing in the leaves. A flute trilled from the distance to the beating of a drum. Tweedly-dee, toodly-doot, rub-a-dub, dub-a-dub-dum. It carried on the blustering breeze and echoed o'er the leafless trees, a merry, carefree, happy sound, swirling, twirling, round and round. Then came the strains of singing, of jolly voices ringing, from over the hills and far away, on autumn's final day. Wreathed in leaves from tail to snout, Bongo and Tubspike scrambled up, pointing to a gaily colored cart. It was surrounded by a group of creatures, pushing it along the dusty path to Redwall. Both the little friends shouted excitedly, "They'm here! I told you they'd come!" "Sam, Sam, oh tell everyone they've arrived!" Perched on the Abbey's high outer wall, Sam, the noisy squirrel, bellowed out in his thunderous voice, "Tell the abbot! They're here, friends, they're here! Sound out the bells!" This is the song of the bells, bong boom. Right joyfully it tells, bong boom. 'Tis autumn's final day, ring-a-lay. And so to all we say, ring-a-lay. Our doors are open wide, ding-dong. Come one, come all inside, ding-dong. Now rest you, traveler, hear our song. Bong, boom, ring-a-lay, ding-dong. Every creature in Redwall Abbey came pouring out of the main doors as Sam called and the bells tolled. Cooks from the kitchen, powdered with flour, pot washers with paws still dripping, candle and lantern lighters blowing out their tapers, firewood gatherers casting aside their bundles, washer beasts with pegs stuck to ears and tails, helpers from the infirmary with bandages streaming out, nursery nurses hugging babes close, hedgehogs from the wine cellars in their great aprons, table layers dropping spoons and forks in their haste. What a crowd ran to the main gates, eager to greet the travelers. Constance, the badger mum, brought up the rear, with Foremoul and Skipper of Otters. Between them, they helped the old Father Abbot along. We can see all the creatures coming to the gates. kinds of animals. Wind came whistling out of the north then, bending trees and flattening grass. The creatures around the cart were hooded and cloaked against the cold. Still covered in leaves, Bongo bowed and Tubspike curtsied to the visitors. They had practiced a long speech of welcome, but the wind bowled them both over. Tubspike took a fit of the chuckles, and Bongo wrinkled his nose at the guests. "Oh, come in, sirs and marms, afore you all freezes." Old Father Abbot smiled at Bongo and Tubspike. "Well done, you two. Please, friends, hurry inside. Welcome to Redwall Abbey." It looks like quite the cart of travelers. Outside, the skies were bleak on autumn's final day. Last summer's butterflies, like dreams, had passed away. So come along now, haste, don't bide, 'tis snug and warm and dry inside. Oh, kindly walk this way on autumn's final day. Our fields are dark and drear, the lake lies cold and still. Bold wind from the north bends trees unto its will. Night falls fast now, come, my friend. Goodwill awaits at journey's end. You've traversed quite a way on autumn's final day. A picture of the abbey from the distance. Once they were inside the great hall, the travelers parked their cart in a corner and set up a gaily hued canvas screen around it. Still wearing hooded cloaks, they disappeared behind the screen. Matthias, the Redwall warrior mouse, and his wife, Cornflower, were greatly puzzled until the abbot explained. "They will not eat or drink until they have entertained us. Come, my friends, take your places at the table." Great Hall was lit with candles and colored lanterns. The winter feast had been placed on the tables. Happy Redwallers chuckled and gossiped as they sat waiting. Fat Friar Hugo inspected each dish. "A hot harvest broth with barley dumplings, deep orchard apple pie with blackberries, wheat and chestnut bread with celery cheese, honeyed pear flan with preserved strawberries, leek and mushroom turnover and mint and carrot sauce, abbey trifle with meadow cream and candied acorns." The list went on and on and on, until Bongo and Tubspike interrupted. "You're oi be for starvin', sir." "Aye, stop telling us about it and serve it up, Friar." Friar Hugo chuckled until his tummy wobbled. "On with the feast, and serve these two rascals first." Across the banquet's busy hum, a trumpet brayed to a rolling drum. As silence fell, a booming call welled up to the rafters of Great Hall. "'Twill soon be winter's day, so the traveling thistledown troupe will put on a show to astound your eyes and make you sit up in surprise. I'd present our famous group, the traveling thistledown troupe." Amid bangs, pink smoke, and multicolored lights, The canvas screen collapsed. Out sprang the performers, led by a grandly clad hare. He carried a big, curling seashell, which he used to shout into. "I'm Hypericum Haddock Hare. I lead the Thistledown troupe, you know. Whichever way the wind may blow, that's the jolly old way we'll go. And whether the weather is foul or fair, we'll sing for our supper here and there, where the chaps will make you laugh or cry, bring a smile to your lips or a tear to your eye. And our fee is a trifle, a pudding or soup, with a travelling Thistledown troupe." Three pretty mousemaids burst into song, fluttering their eyelashes at the astonished Redwallers. "I'm Crochet, I'm Quaver, I'm Queenie, the three melodious mice. We've sung at lots of harvest fairs, and at some banquets twice. If you love to hear a ballad, dear, please take our sound advice. Don't fret or fear, just lend an ear to the three melodious mice." A fat mole, dressed in a jester suit, entered. He ran at the singing trio with a pail full of water and launched the contents at them. Every beast screamed and covered their eyes. Surely the three pretty singers would be drenched. But it was only a pail full of flower petals. The audience breathed a sigh of relief, laughing and clapping. Hypericum Haddock Hare bellowed into his big, curly seashell. "For your amusement, comical capers, jolly japes, marvelous mirth, and a rib-tickling rumpus, from our very own droll dumplings and cavorting clowns." Whooping and tumbling, a band of moles, voles, and dormice, all comically dressed, took the floor. "Exploding cakes, for goodness sakes, do slapsticks really smart? That silly grin upon his face brings laughter to your heart." Bongo and Tubspike roared with merriment. Tears streamed from their eyes. Skipper of Otters and Matthias held their sides, chuckling. The hare announced the next performer. "Father Abbot, good Redwallers all, allow me to present the one and only mighty Bulbrock Broadstripe." A gasp arose from the audience. Bulbrock Broadstripe, the badger, shed his flowing cape. Twirling his curled mustachio, he bowed, then, rearing up, he flexed his powerful muscles and issued a warning to Bongo, Tubspike, and all the little ones watching. "Never attempt to perform the things I'm about to do, as you might injure your little selves." He flung a big stone ball up high and caught it with both paws. A solid bar of iron he took and bent it in his jaws. Then he took two metal weights, which no four beasts could shift, and swung them up above his head, all in one easy lift. The hare, 6 squirrels, and 8 mice upon a table sat. He carried all twice around the great hall. Now what do you think of that? "Whoa, look out, sirs!" Formal and Noisy Sam ducked their heads just in time. A dozen apples whizzed through the air like magic. It was Oswald and Oriole, the juggling otters. Round and round the apples flew between the juggling duo. Oswald and Oriole did all this while balancing upon two rounded logs. Not only that, but they both spun balls on their tail tips, crying out, "Hoopla, rosy apples for all! Hoopla, will we let one fall? Up they comes, down they goes, where they lands, no beast knows." Seizing items from the festive tables, they added them to the whirling medley. Sugar plums, pears, and candied chestnuts whizzed with the apples over the diners' heads. Oswald and Oriole skillfully changed the flying fruit into different patterns, chanting as they did. "Hark, little uns, this trick is yours. Hold out both your open paws. Sit quite still now, close your eyes, and here's a sweet surprise." Bongo, Tubspike, and all the Abbey babes squeaked with delight. A candied chestnut landed plop into each of their small paws. Oswald and Oriole bowed and beamed at the well-deserved applause they received. Such skill. Oh, guess I better show you that picture of Oswald and Oriole, the juggling otters. Alley-oop, head over tail, high above the abbey floor. See amid the rafter beams the flying fir grove squirrels soar. Catch your partner by the paw, loop the loop and somersault, whirling free up in midair, the flying fir grove squirrels vault. Fearless those skilled acrobats, each one born with nerves of steel, hurtling, twirling gracefully, the flying fir grove squirrels wheel. Magical mugwort amazes all. In a cloud of smoke he'll appear, to vanish a spoon from Bungo's paw, and produce it out of his ear. Abracadabra, alakazam, he gives his wand a shake. Bees fly out of the abbot's sleeve, and daisies sprout from a cake. What a mysterious hedgehog! How does he do it? They cry. Whilst from a tiny nutshell, ribbons and streamers fly. Does Mugwort do it with mirrors? Is it all a trick, a joke? How and why? Who knows? Not I. Woof! He's gone in a cloud of smoke. Redwallers were beside themselves with merriment and admiration of the troupe. Applauding heartily, they cheered and pounded the tables. Good Father Abbot called out to the performers, "What a marvelous show! Come now, friends, please sit with us and share our feast." At a nod from Haddock Hare, the entire troupe took a bow and hurried to places set for them at the table. And what a table for hungry entertainers it was. Whilst the feasting and chanting continued, Constance the Badgermum cast an eye over the Abbey babes. Most of them were rubbing their eyes and yawning. "Come on, my dibbins, time you were snug in your beds." The babes snuffled and grumbled, but Bungo complained aloud, "Grr, it bain't fur. Why should us little ones go to bed, and ye big ones stay up? I ain't going no marm. Mighty Bullbrock Badger swept Bongo up in one huge paw. Hearken to me, little Master Mole. If you wants to grow up big and strong like me, you'll go right off to bed. Besides, tonight is autumn's final day, so you must go. Mighty Bullbrock winked at the dozy Dibbons. Come on, I'll tell you all a story once you're all in bed. Bongo cheered up a bit. Oh, good. A bedtime story I do like some, sir. Up the winding abbey stairs, little paws go plodding. In the flickering lantern light, tiny heads are nodding. Side by side, wearily, snail-like Dibbons creep. Redwall's spiral staircase leads to the land of sleep. With Constance, Cornflower, and several others to help, it was not long before the Abbey babes were tucked up snug in their little dormitory beds, some already asleep. But not Bongo. Tell us your story, sir. So Mighty Bullbrock told the tale, a story known to all creatures, as old as time itself. Old autumn's final day is done, when midnight bells toll winter's birth. That is the time, so legend says, Snow Badger comes to earth. Awakened in his realms of sky, to visit earth below, unseen by any living eye, thus it was ever so. Lord of cold winter season, he makes all stars shine bright, ruler of the icy winds, whose breath can freeze the night. But if any beast should see him before his work's complete, oh, woe to us, calamity, Snow Badger would retreat. He'd leave no winter tide at all, no blanket white and deep, to let poor Mother Nature rest her earth in peaceful sleep. And if there were no winter, why, then there'd be no spring, no crops to mow, no flowers to grow, no little birds to sing. Our lands would turn to desert, how sorry we'd all be. So eyes shut tight, sleep sound tonight, let Snow Badger roam free. Mighty Bullbrock's voice was so deep and comforting that all the Abbey babes were soon fast asleep, dreaming their own small dreams. On tip-paw, the elders stole out and went downstairs, chuckling to one another. Snow Badger, eh? That's a good story to make them sleep. Aye, I can remember my old grandma telling it to me. Me too, and I believed it, every word. Mighty Bullbrock toyed with something on a string about his neck. He looked at them in surprise. You don't believe the story of the Snow Badger anymore? Believe it? Not us. It's only an old bedtime story to make babes go to sleep. But Mighty Bullbrock Badger did not laugh. 'Twas late that night, all banqueting was done. Redwallers and their guests to bed had gone. Outside, the north wind howled in dirge-like moans, scouring at the abbey's ancient stones. Within, each creature slumbered, safe and warm, heedless to the songs of wind or storm. Fires grew low as solid pine logs burned. Their wood to glowing embers slowly turned. This was the time he had been waiting for. Old Lord of Wintertide arrived once more. And there is the snow badger. In the sky above the abbey. High, high above, midst the vast acres of dense night cloud, Snow Badger strode. Thrice taller than the greatest oak, he stood. Glittering silver-white was his coat. Above the two pearl-gray stripes which marked his massive face, a crown of pure ice wreathed his hoary head. The Lord of Wintertide's eyes were of the palest blue. He gazed down at the earth many leagues below, laid bare by the dying breath of autumn's wind. Behind him, as far as the eye could see, legion upon legion of his white snow hares stood waiting. Snow Badger's voice rolled across the dark vaults of night to them. Go now at my command, as you have done each year. Let all beasts know throughout the land, the Lord of Wintertide is here. Sheet the sleeping earth in white, leave naught uncovered in your wake. Soft and silent, toil all night, till dawn's first light doth break. The snow hares went then, like all the stars from the Milky Way falling from the heavens, countless myriad hordes of them, quietly drifting down, down, for the sighing winds to strew them over the slumbering ground. I like this picture a lot. The old Lord of Wintertide and his army of snow hares, the snowflakes. Quite lovely. Twirling, swirling, sifting, drifting, driven as the wild winds bid. See the armies turn to snow, sacrificed till all is hid. Hedgerow, field, and woodland disappear from sight. Smooth becomes the landscape, 'neath a cloak of white. Sticking to old abbey walls, piling deep round door and sill, seeking out each niche or cranny, searching for a ditch to fill. Numbing, muffling, mute, and silent, winter closes tight its vice. Sheening pond and lake uptight, locking fish beneath the ice. Now the brook has ceased to chuckle. Look, the stream is choked and slow. Icicles form stalactites, long from eaves they grow. Down black chimneys on red embers, snowflakes sizzle, hiss and die. Wintertide is now upon us. So say all, and so say I. More of the snow hares. And so, while the snow continued piling up outside, the good creatures of Redwall Abbey slept snug in their beds. Father Abbot dreamt of next summer's long, warm days. Skipper of Otters dreamt of broad, sunlit streams. Four-Mole dreamt of digging new tunnels next spring. The traveling Thistledown troupe dreamt of taking the high road to more spectacular performances. Abbey Babes and Dibbons dreamt of last summer's golden days, picking strawberries in the orchard patch. Every beast had calm dreams of peace and leisure, except baby Bongo. In his roguish dreams, Bongo stole pies and puddings from the kitchen windowsills where they stood cooling. He dreamt of growing up to be a big mole without once taking a bath. He dreamt of snow, of stealing out early and pelting every beast with snowballs until they cried out for mercy. Bongo gave small, villainous chuckles as he dreamt. Then came the dawn. Snow Badger drifted regally down from the clouds and looked around at the winter he had created. The wind died down as the giant Lord of Wintertide strode the land, leaving in his wake not a single paw print. Everything was perfect. The entire countryside was pretty as a picture, spotless white. Then he saw Redwall Abbey and suddenly remembered. Windows. Only Snow Badger could frost up window panes with his icy breath. He hurried to perform the task before the Redwallers awakened. An inner voice calling urgently to him, "Hurry, it's already dawn of winter's first day." The Abbey Babes all asleep in the dormitory, and Snow Badger outside, peering in the window, frosting it up. Whoosh! His icy breath blew forth, frosting the gatehouse pane, patterns of flowers and twinkling stars repeating again and again. Towering high o'er the abbey, Snow Badger bent to great hall, colorful stained glass windows. With a whoosh, he froze them all. On to Redwall's kitchens then, an icy blast he cast. No cook could peer through windows, patterned and frosted that fast. Whilst frosting the dormitory windows, he was facing the final bay, when the window opened and Bongo appeared to bid the Snow Badger good day. And here we have baby Bongo, face to face with the enormous Lord of Wintertide, Snow Badger. Snow Badger looks a bit surprised. "A good day to 'ee, sir. Be you 'ee Snow Badger?" The giant Lord of Wintertide was so astonished that he could only stand glaring at the cheeky little mole babe. Bongo leaned out and shook one of his whiskers heartily. "I be's Bongo, and I believes in 'ee. You very nice." Snow Badger smiled then, his great face lighting up with delight. Gently, he took Bongo onto his outstretched paw. The little mole babe hung on to one of the mighty claws, looking down at the abbey far below. "Her, bain't arfi oop yours, sir. Be you going to take Oi up to the clouds with 'ee?" Snow Badger laughed then. He laughed so hard that his mighty breath chased the gray cloud banks away. Winter sun beamed down on the land, giving the snow a soft, creamy color and making it sparkle gaily. He shook his big, striped head. "Oh no, you young rascal, no. Back to your home you must go. But remember me each wintertide, for 'twas I who brought you snow." Snow Badger lifting up baby Bongo. With the dawn in the background. Bongo felt himself lowered to the ground so fast that it made his tiny head spin. He landed softly in a deep snowdrift beside the abbey door. Snow Badger shook his head fondly, chuckled, and rose into the clear blue winter's morn, light as thistledown and free as the breeze, now that his work was done. And a picture of the abbey blanketed in fresh snow. And Snow Badger retreating into the sky. The abbey door swings open wide as happy young ones tumble out, all muffled up and bright-eyed. Just hear them squeak and shout. Where's the hill to roll down? Where's the pond to skate? Snowballing, tobogganing? Oh, isn't winter great? Good Father Abbot and Hypericum Haddock Hare, with the elders, followed the youngsters out into the snow. Skipper of Otters began clearing a path with his spade. Well, well, I see old Snow Badger visited us last night. Bungo's head popped up out of the snowdrift beside the door. He certainly did, sir. I seed him. Mighty Bullbrock Badger nodded and played with the string around his neck. But the rest of the grown-up Redwallers smiled. Father Abbot patted Bongo fondly. Well, golly gosh, and goodness me, Snow Badger showed himself to you. He must have been a sight to see. Just think a moment, was it true? Mayhap last night you closed your eyes and saw Snow Badger in a dream. But in the morn 'tis no surprise that dreams may not be what they seem. Last night you may have eaten too much. As you grow up, no doubt you'll find that cheese and pudding, pie and stuff return to haunt one's mind. Bongo waved his little paws, protesting aloud. It weren't no dream. I seed he girt Snow Badger. You were nice to me. Look it, there he goes. All eyes followed the mole babe's paw, which was pointing skyward at an object high in the clear blue sky. Constance patted Bungo's head fondly. Oh, you little rogue, that's only a cloud. No, it ain't, Marm. That's the Snow Badger. I knowed. I know him anywheres. Mighty Bullbrock Broadstripe, the traveling Thistledown Troupe's strong badger, stepped forward. He picked Bongo up. When I was only this little tug size, I saw the Snow Badger too. I knows Bongo saw him. Look. He pointed to the string about Bongo's neck. It had a small bag hanging from it. Bongo was as surprised as any beast. But Roy, what's this, sir? Bulbrock showed him the one he was wearing. It was the same.
I got this from Snow Badger early one first winter's morn. I was awake, and I saw him afore any beast. He gave me this as a gift. Open the bag, young'un.
Bongo fumbled with the string, which was really a single hair from the giant badger. He loosed the neck of the bag and shook it. Out fell a scrap of parchment with something wrapped up in it. A clear crystal drop, for goodness sake, cold and true as a mountain lake, like a teardrop shed by a star from the sky, twinkling, glittering, dazzling the eye. Such pictures shone in that wondrous thing: a deep sunset at sea, a rainbow in spring, dawn's light over hills, a wild waterfall. One just had to look to imagine it all.
Now read what the parchment says,
Bulbrock advised. Bongo turned the scrap of parchment this way and that. He scratched his snub nose in puzzlement. Good Father Abbot smiled kindly at the mole babe's efforts. Here, little one, you don't start at Abbey School until next summer. Let me read it for you. It was a very mysterious little poem that the Abbot of Redwall Abbey read aloud. Die written, a last cry, there find dearer of thus poor threat, it formed her love. The Redwallers were at a loss to explain the odd rhyme. Well, what do you make of that? What's it supposed to mean?
I can't make head nor tail of it.
Do you know what it means, Father Abbot? The abbot shook his wise old head. Alas, no, but I'll wager our friend Bulbrock does.
The strong badger chuckled. I knows what it means, Father Abbot. 'Twas written on my scrap of parchment too, though it took me long ages before I managed to solve the riddle of yon poem.
Bulbrock winked at Bongo.
But today is winter's first day. 'Tis a time for sport and play. If you haven't guessed the answer by evening, I'll tell you at supper. But what you say, little mate?
Bongo nodded his agreement. You be full of good ideas, sir. I likes to play. And play they did, every beast, young and old. I'll show you the pictures. Little Bongo with his gem, and the mysterious parchment. Constance, the badger mum, helped Matthias and Cornflower to build a fine snow mouse. Bongo and Tubspike flung snowballs at them. Four-Mole and a crowd of Dibbins tobogganed down a slope. Bongo and Tubspike giggled and flung snowballs at them too. Skipper and his otters skated figures of 8 on the frozen pond. Bongo and Tubspike chuckled and flung snowballs at them too. They're little rascals. You can see all the Abbey beasts playing. And then those two little ones getting in trouble. It continues. Good Father Abbot and the flying fir-grove squirrels busied themselves making a snow house. Bongo and Tubspike laughed and flung snowballs at them too. Hypericum Hare and some of his troop started rolling together a great snowball. Bongo and Tubspike roared with glee and flung snowballs at them too. Blowing plumes of white steam, bright-eyed and rosy-cheeked, every beast enjoyed themselves thoroughly, but none more than those two little rascals, Bongo and Tubspike. They snowballed anything that moved. So every beast left off what they were doing and began snowballing back at the roguish pair. Soon the air was filled with soft white snowballs. All the abbey beasts starting a snowball fight. Oh, this is the proper snowball fight. A snowball landed on Formole's head. Constance took two on her snout. One big and fat knocked Bongo flat as snowballs whizzed about. Back and forth they battled. Whoop, thud, splotch, and a whack. Look, there goes a laughing hedgehog, 6 snowballs stuck to his back. No beast was spared from the riotous fun. Even good old Father Abbot was forced to flee, smiling gleefully, pelted from whiskers to habit. There are all the abbey beasts in a snowball fight. Such fun. They played in the snow until evening, when the skies were glowing scarlet and the sun sank into the far horizons. Friar Hugo appeared at the abbey door and rang his bell, squeaking aloud to the revelers, "Supper's ready, the bread is hot, pies and pastries, fresh mint tea, woodland stew straight from the pot. So wipe those paws and follow me." Bongo knocked the friar's tall hat off with a well-aimed snowball as he went inside. Such fun. Weary, warm, and well-fed, the Redwallers and their guests sat around a roaring log fire in Cavern Hole. A few snowflakes fell down the chimney, hissing as they melted in the heat. Mighty Bulbrock nodded to Bongo.
"Our snow badgers had his work again tonight, matey."
Hypericum Haddock Hare, who was still munching, waved a long ear at Bulbrock.
"Now will you kindly tell us what that little poem means?"
Good Father Abbot interrupted. He drew forth a parchment from his sleeve. It's a rhyme within a rhyme. The letters of each line can be changed to explain it. Look. Wide-eyed with wonder, they looked. Father Abbot was surely the wisest mouse that ever lived. Die written a last cry is a wintertide crystal. There find dearer of is dear friend for thee. Off thus poor threat is as proof of the truth, and it formed her love is hold it ever for me. Constance the Badger Mum shook her head in wonderment.
So that was the solution. The letters of each line have to be switched about to form a new verse. Father Abbot, how wonderful of you to solve the riddle.
Bongo yawned and rubbed his eyes.
I solved it myself this morning, but I weren't going to tell you till tomorrow, ma'am.
Mighty Bulbrock took Bongo upon his lap.
You're a champion snowball thrower, little Bongo, but you're a dreadful fibber.
Every beast at Redwall laughed and laughed, all the way up to their beds. Far up in the cold night skies, Snow Badger watched his hairs drifting down to earth and turning to snowflakes. He heard the happy laughter drifting up through the abbey windows. No doubt his little mole friend Bongo had caused it. Lying down on a vast, soft cloud, the Lord of Wintertide closed his eyes in slumber. He liked visiting Redwall Abbey to bring winter joys to its creatures. Did you enjoy your visit to Redwall, my little friend? I hope you did. Please come back someday, be it summer, spring, autumn, or winter. You are always very welcome here. And another picture of the wise old abbot. And that, my friends, was a Redwall Winter's Tale. I hope you enjoyed it. It's not the usual kind of thing I do here on the channel, but I thought that some of you might enjoy it. And perhaps in the future, I might return to reading some more of the Redwall novels. We'll have to see. But in the meantime, thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. And I look very forward to having you all back here next time. Bye for now.